Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. My next partner is Elevate Coffee Trading, and if you appreciate specialty coffee, enjoy outdoor adventure, and love helping elevate the lives of children around the world, then you're going to love Elevate Coffee Trading. Their mission is to extract hope through love, coffee, and adventures. There's free shipping in the United States, and every bag of coffee helps sponsor health and education for children in coffee-producing countries and in areas of need in the United States. You can use promo code Elevate21 on your next order, and you can follow their journey on social media at Elevate Coffee Trading. Or you can visit online at elevatecoffeetrading.com, and let's start extracting hope together. And this episode is brought to you by Baba Coffee, smuggling good vibes. Baba roasts their coffee beans each week and only offers the freshest coffee. They have espressos, lattes, cappuccinos, pour over, or drip coffee. You can try their cold brew coffee, nitro cold brew, or bulletproof coffee, and boba milk teas. They also have a wide assortment of delicious food. I would suggest you try the avocado toast, mimosas, wine, or beer. On the weekends, you can check out some great music like the Soto Six and food like Eliza the Shelf and others over the weekend, every Friday and Saturday, beginning at 6 p.m. You can check out everything they got going on Facebook and Instagram at Baba Coffee. Welcome to a new episode of the Creative Brew, giving you insights on your creative journey. Today, we have a brand authority expert, Christine Blosdale, a 5-time best-selling author. She's the brand authority expert, and she's gonna help you for people that's wanting to build their own brand. I know everyone now is like, hey, we gotta have this personal brand, we gotta package ourselves. You might as well go to the expert. So Christine has had years, I'm gonna say probably decades of experience helping people like you build their authority and get paid more and get paid doing what you love to do. So without further ado, I'm gonna let Christine share her origin story, and we'll go about this episode.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really excited about being here because we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, and I love seeing creative, talented, super gifted people explore their passion, go after their passions, right? And that's really one of the most important things when it comes to branding is your passion behind your product, your service, whatever that is. And so, yes, I am the expert authority coach. And I started off, I was many, many moons ago. You're probably too young to even remember this, but back in the day, America Online, AOL, was it, right? There was no Facebook, there was no TikTok, there was no YouTube. It was just America Online. And I was very lucky to be granted an opportunity to write because it was all writing, it was all columns, right?
Yeah.
But I got to write an entertainment column for them called the Daily Fix. And the Daily Fix was a daily column. And it was all about Hollywood and movies and celebrities. And so I got to go to a lot of premieres and I got to do honest movie reviews and all that great stuff. But I wrote through a cartoon character, through a brand that I had created called Beatbox Betty. And don't ask me to beatbox because I can't. But Beatbox Betty was this anatomically incorrect martini totin, sort of a Hedda Hopper character who was a little sloshed always. But my editor at the time, I asked them. I said, "So who's my target audience? Because I need to know how to frame these things, how to write." And he said, "Christine, it's America Online." I said, "Yes." He said, your audience is anywhere from 8 to 80. Oh, okay. So I started writing with that in mind, and knowing that Beatbox Betty was a little tipsy, usually, always. So I had to make sure that I wasn't too, overboard. But and it was way before Shrek. But it's like the Shrek movies, right? So I had to appeal to a younger audience, make it fun and silly, but then also an older audience would go, "Oh, I get, oh, a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge." Okay. So starting working with America Online, it really helped me know and learn what people want and need. And that started, that whole thing. Eventually, I moved over to AOL, got rid of because they consolidated with Time Warner and they got rid of all their cool, independent writers. And I went over to MSN, which was the competition, Microsoft. Did that for a little while, still doing all the entertainment stuff, interviewed amazing people. I've got some celebrity stories for you too, if you like. But it really helped hone in my skills in communicating. And I did it all through a brand, through a character. So fast forward, 9/11 happens. Oh, I completely do an evaluation of my entire life. I say, what am I doing? Who cares what, Angelina Jolie is wearing today? 9/11 just stopped me in my tracks. And I said, I need to be doing something else. And I didn't know what, but you know how that is when you're looking for something, you know there needs to be a change,
Yes.
and then poof, it hits you in the face. Well, as you do when you're stuck in traffic in Los Angeles, which is all the time, you're channel surfing. You're on the radio listening to stuff, and I heard a station, and this station was so unusual. It wasn't that normal fear mongering about what happened with 9/11. It was asking questions, and it was actually educating me about oh foreign policy. I didn't know we had a history in the Middle East. I didn't know we had all these things. So my curiosity got the best of me, and I drove down to that radio station, and I just wanted to be grateful and thank people that worked there. I did not go there for a job. I just went there to thank people. And in that journey, I found out that they liked my little character. They liked who I was, and they said, "You can come and volunteer." And this is a radio station in Los Angeles with quite a huge signal. And I just started working there as a volunteer, writing copy, just like I was doing with AOL, but for important things, right? And analyze, just having great guests and everything. And I was there for 20 years.
Oh,
I was a producer, then I moved into an on-air host, and as an on-air host, I got to interview some amazing people, and I realized what the pillar of three was through those 20 years and raising fund, fundraising and all of that stuff. And the pillar of three is this: if you can focus in your business or for a product or a service, if you can focus in on health, wealth, or love, you got it. And when I say wealth, I don't mean make $1 million tomorrow type thing. Wealth is having the time to spend with your family, all of that great stuff. But that's what I learned in my 20 years being there, is that if you can focus in on and give people what they actually need and want, it's a home run.
hmm.
It's a home run. So that's how I got here, basically. I was interviewing people and I was like, did you know you should write a book? I think you need to have, I was like giving them free business advice. And then eventually I said I should start my own business. And that's when I became a coach.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. You know what? And I think you bring up something really cool is, definitely getting to that point where, and everyone has those things that, those events that occur, and knowing like there's something more that I could be doing in my life. There's something, not to say you're going on a certain path, but like you just hit that existential moment there to where it's
Yeah.
like there's something more like I could be doing. And and I think the funny thing with life is like, when you start to ask those questions, like random things start popping up, or you'll get those answers in weird ways. I know for you it's like the radio station, but I think kids now, it's so weird now because like kids are they're looking for the answers, but they're not. I don't know. It's one of those where like like they want to have the answers to everything, and not to say they have access to technology, but they're like it's something like they always feel like they're missing or missing out on, or not even like taking the steps to like ask the right questions to get to where they need to go. And I think you're definitely a great example of like someone that went in there with really pure intentions. and you end up starting to volunteer, and then you go from there. I think a lot of kids now, like they want it now, like they want everything right
Right.
now.
Instant gratification. That's the fast food, TikTok, we have information overload.
Yeah.
And, when I was a kid, we didn't have all of that. And I sound like my grandmother. When I was a kid, I used
Yeah.
to walk, you
In
know,
my day.
but it's true. And
Yeah.
in my day, my parents would say, go outside and play, get out
Yeah.
of the house. And, even with our own teenagers, I remember being so frustrated. They'd be locked in their rooms in a dark room, and the only thing was the glow of the phone. And if you took away the phone from them for any length of time, they would, they were starting to lose their mind.
Hmm.
So I was lucky in many ways to be, raised when I was raised. But it's also it's listening to, it's really listening, and that is a skill set that I think we don't teach our kids. We listen to respond instead of actually listening. And I listen to the universe. I remember it was just maybe a couple days after 9/11 happened, and there was a press junket for a film. And I can't even remember the film, but I remember it was Drew Barrymore. We were interviewing, and it was a table of journalists, and we were all sitting around. And she came in and she was visibly upset and ready just to break down into tears. And she said, I'm sorry. She says, I know I'm supposed to be here to promote this movie, but I just can't. I'm so not here, and I'm so worried about, the people that were, killed and all this stuff. And she broke down and started crying. And all these journalists were sitting there going, you know, and you know what? I listened. I got up out of my seat and I walked over and I gave her a hug because that's what I felt the moment needed. And I said, "It's okay. It's okay. I totally understand." Now, of course, the film executives in the studio is like, come on now, Drew, you can do it, But it was just a moment, and that was the moment where I also said, you know what, this is silly. I mean, it's great. There are very talented people in the film industry, but at that moment of my life, I was looking for something else. And when you look for something else or you feel that pull, a lot of times the universe does show it to you. You just got to listen
Yeah. Yep.
and take action and take action.
Yes. Yeah. That's what. Yeah. I think some people are. They're not courageous enough to take that action when the universe is saying, "Hey, this is it.
And
This is
knocking
it."
at your door,
Yeah.
right?
Just go this way. Just.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you bring up some really good points. I know you were talking about love, health, and wellness. Now, with you being the expert authority coach, is that something that you try to, and like I said, you could probably expound on this a little bit better. Like if you've got someone coming in like, hey, I want to build my brand. Is that something? Are those certain concepts that you use as far as with your own individual coaching style, like incorporating those three elements?
Well, the more important thing is I want to see what their passion is, right?
Right.
I want to see what their energy is. And more important than anything, than what pillar you choose, health, wealth, or love, more important than any of that, more important than a logo or your colors, what you use on your website and your business cards. More important than any of that is your energy. And it's not to be woo woo, it's truth.
Mhm.
Your energy, your vibe is going to open doors or slam them in your face. If you have a desperate, I've got to make sales kind of thing, people are going to run because they don't want to jump aboard the Titanic, right? So immediately what I do is when I'm working with a client, we sit down and I get their vibe, man. I got to get their feel. If they're funny, if they're quirky, if they're conservative, if they're shy, a lot of times that first few sessions that I work with people is getting over imposter syndrome. Because if we don't get rid of that or deal with it, then you're not going to be able to show up as a coach or a consultant or a speaker, right? If you have imposter syndrome, and that comes up whenever we're asked to stretch, whenever we're asked to do something that, ooh, that feels a little uncomfortable, or we're worried about what other people are going to say about us. What are people going to think? The other thing is, and especially with this happens with women, is, I'm too old, I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm too that. And that is the biggest killer of dreams. There are so many really talented and gifted people that stop and they don't go forward in their business, or they put messaging out in their branding and their website that is it's not confidence, and it's not saying, you know what, I'm really good at what I do. And that's what I can say wholeheartedly. Do I know everything about branding and marketing? No. But am I really good at what I do? Hell yes. And my unique brand is my energy. If you notice, if you went to my website, or you see my media kit, or you see my even my my business card or the back of my books, I use a photo that shows my energy. So immediately people know I've got my headphones on. I've got a microphone in front of my face. I'm wearing black because I always wear black. I like Darth Vader, so give me, break. But in the image, that photograph is me, and you can't even see my eyes because I have joy on my face. My mouth is open. You can tell I'm in my lane. And so that brand, that feeling is going to attract the clients that I want. Right.
Mhm.
So that's number one most important thing, is the energy and the vibe that you're putting out. And we work on that in a couple different ways, but I love it. I love what I do. I love Monday mornings. I'm very grateful for all my clients that are around the world. And once we get that done, then we can move on to start creating the content, the things that will raise their expert authority.
Yeah, I like that. I definitely believe, your energy will, people will read your energy way before
Mm.
anything else. And I know, actually, when I downloaded, I was reading your media kit, and I was like, this is a spunky lady here. Like, she's really like, like
Spunky.
I was
I
like,
like that.
this is like high energy right here. And so it's always like refreshing to see that. Sometimes I can, I just being a designer, like, I love looking at people's media kits and like, oh, I said, this is pretty cool how they laid this out. But yeah, you can usually see like the energy, or what they're trying to put out
Yeah.
with each thing. But yeah, I loved your I love the whole consistent theme going on. Like I said, high energy, and you see those bright colors. I was like, automatically, hey, this is Christine.
Do you
Um,
remember, you know what, when it comes to the branding of the colors too, and I do tell my clients, I say that's not that important. But the reason why everything is this kind of hot pink, black and white, I grew up in Los Angeles, and I was born in 64, so you do the math. But when I was young, like, we didn't have all these kind of candies that kids have now. I sound
yeah,
like my grandmother again.
yeah,
But we had well, of course, Reese's peanut butter cups, which was like I love that. But my favorite was a box of Good and Plenty. And Good and Plenty were these little candies, hard candies. It had black licorice inside,
mhm,
and on the outside it was a candy coating of either white or pink, and it was a hot pink.
yeah.
And the box, just the marketing of I want whoever did the marketing on the Good and Plenty box, I really want to thank you, because I lifted that. I
Yeah,
lifted that.
I'm a Reese Cups fanatic too, so I love my Reese
Ooh,
sticks and Reese Cups. Especially, I got to throw them in the freezer. I got to throw them in the freezer, let them get a little cold,
yes.
and then I
Yes.
eat them. My wife was like, "What?" Like, how do you eat those? I'm like, I love it. It's just one of
It's a
those.
childhood thing. It's
Yeah,
a childhood thing. And then Easter, you used to get the egg,
yeah,
the Reese's peanut butter egg, and you thought you won the lottery because it was so much. It wasn't just a cup; it was an egg. Oh my god!
simpler times, simpler times.
Yes, yes, yes.
So with you being the expert authority coach, what is so if maybe someone like, I'm gonna throw an example. Say like me. Say if I wanted to come in and be like, okay, I want you to. I've got a brand, but maybe there's some things I want to focus towards speaking. What would be some things that you initially like not talk to me about? Just maybe for listeners to sort of see your process.
Yes. So it starts with the first call, and that's a strategy session where it's basically an expert authority strategy session where I sit down with you for 30 minutes. It's free because I need to know if I like you and if I want to work with you. But also, I need to know what it is that you do. Okay. So what we do is we go in and I'll take a look at whatever you have already, your digital footprint. So it might be you have a website. If you don't have a website, that's okay. But if you have a website, I'll take a look at that. I'll look at the messaging, and I will look at your social media, but that's not as important to me as that website, and if you have a media kit. But the most important thing is to find out what your goals are. What are your goals? Are your goals to market, to promote your book that you've just written, or is it to be a guest on podcasts, to promote your brand, your business? What is your business? The biggest mistake that business owners make is that they're not specific on what it is that they do, and the problems that they can solve. A lot of very multi-talented people say, "Oh, I do everything for everybody. I do a little of this and I do a little of that." And so it's not about niching down per se, but it's about niching down the message. Okay. So we want to be crystal clear who you are, what you do, and how you help people. So we work on that. And then the next stage is using those different platforms that I think I suggest to you that I think you would be great at. Not everybody is cut out to be a podcast host.
Yeah.
Having your own branded podcast is brilliant from a marketing perspective. It's one of the most affordable ways to market your brand and who you are, but not everybody's cut out for that, right? So
Mhm.
depending on the personality, I might shift you towards a different area. But we go with the low-hanging fruit. Whatever's the easiest, quickest return for you to start developing your expert authority, we start on those. So that's what I would do, is really start off with that. And one of the very first things we do when I'm working with people, like in my accelerator program, where we work every single week together, is we do create that media kit. That media kit is not just for getting you booked on podcast shows, but it's a reminder for you. I keep mine right next to my computer so I can remind myself of who I am, what my accomplishments are, and that media kit is going to open doors for you. So we create that together. And we take all of your jewels and we put them in your crown so that you can easily, when somebody says, "Oh, hey, what is it that you do?" You can just rattle it off, and you have either a mantra or a tagline that's attached to you. So for mine, the expert authority coach is basically, I get you seen, heard, trusted, and paid for what you already know.
Mhm.
So that way, if somebody asks me, I don't have to go, "Oh, what do I do? I do everything. I do." You got to get them through the door first, you see. So you have to tell people what it is that you do to help, that you can help them with. And then once they're in your world, then you can say, "Oh, by the way, did you know I also do this? I can help you with that." Right?
Mhm.
But if you have too much messaging going on and you confuse the audience, nobody's going to come through those doors. So you need to be really clear. If you're a fitness coach, you need to tell me what you can do for me. If you're a fitness coach, how you can help me. Not that, "Oh, I can build your website and I can do, can you help me become a healthier human being? Live longer? Lose a few pounds?" Okay.
Oh yeah, that's I like that. That's yeah, definitely dialing in on the messaging. That can be critical for a lot of people. So for anyone that's listening, and like I said, you're on the fence, you're trying to build a brand or trying to start a brand. Um, that's something I'm really big. Like a lot of businesses, they'll come to me and like, "Hey, I want to create a logo or a brand." Or I was like, "Okay, that's awesome," but like, what about like the sort of the innate qualities? What's your story? Like what like why is a new logo even necessary? Like what's your whole story?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for a lot of business owners, they tend to, say, okay, this new logo is gonna like, that's gonna help me brand. I'm like, no, there's a lot of other things to consider. Um, that's the sort of the almost at the end part. That's the physical
Yes.
thing that we see, but like getting a media kit done, like figuring out what your messaging is, your brand messaging is, all that stuff is critical before people should even start like trying to create that, brand identity and visual identity.
And people forget too that unless it's a product, if it's a product, it's a different strategy. But if you're a coach or consultant or service provider of any stripe, right? The brand is not the logo, it's not the colors. The brand is you. It's you. You're the brand. So you need to really be sharp and clear on who you are, right? And also how you are portrayed in the world, how you put yourself out in the world, all of that. So we tend to, and it's because we're overwhelmed as entrepreneurs. We got so many things that we have to think about. We got to be an accountant. We got to be a marketing person.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need an outside person. You need either a coach or a mentor who can look from the outside in. I'll give you a great example. A very super well-educated, experienced therapist is one of my clients, and I went to her website, and all the accolades, all the things that she's done, and text and everything. But as soon as you go to the website, there's a picture of a bridge, and I said, why is there a big, huge picture of a bridge on your website when you first go to your site? And she said, oh, that's a famous bridge locally where I live. It connects this town to this town or whatever. And I thought it was beautiful. And I said, as an outsider, you're already responding. You're already reacting to this. I said, the first thing I thought of that big bridge over the water was that somebody's going to jump. And she went, oh my God, Christine, I've had that up for over a year. And I said, well, what kind of message are you putting out there? I know and she's a lovely she is not putting out a message telling people to jump off the bridge. But I said, come on now, know your audience, right? Maybe when people come to your website, the very first thing that they should see is a video of you speaking directly to them and saying how excited you are that they've come to your website and that there's help for them and that they can look in your eyes and they can see your sincerity and they can maybe you could become a trustworthy person for them that they'll reach out to instead of a bridge over a bunch of water.
Yeah. Know your audience.
Know your audience. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's that's a really good example. Yeah. That really, I mean, golly, and she's a therapist, and like she didn't even consider that. So that's a really good one. That's a good example.
Sometimes you need a new set of eyes looking at what you've created. That's all. It's and it's, of course, as soon as I said that to her, she made sure her webmaster changed that picture.
Yeah.
But it's important. I have another client who's in his 80s, and he wanted to create a podcast, and I said, well, it's more than a podcast. Your story is a podcast, yes, but also a book and a movie, because I see it, right? And he said, I said, what do you want to call the podcast? He goes, Christine. He's from Los Angeles. He goes, I want to call it My Little Green Frog. I said, My Little Green Frog. I said, no, Frederick, we're not going to call it that. I said, because first of all, I think it's a children's podcast, and I have a feeling this is not about children. He goes, no, it's about my life growing up in the racist South, growing up on a plantation. We actually lived on a plantation, and how I survived racist America, going through life in the 50s and the 60s and I said, well, where do you get My Little Green Frog? He says, my grandmother used to say that to me, and it calmed me and it made me feel lovely and secure. And I said, okay. I said, oh, that's good, but that's a chapter maybe in the book, My Little Green Frog, and you could talk about your grandmother. It's a chapter that's an episode in the podcast. Oh, okay. Well, and I looked at his whole beautiful life and his spirit and his wisdom. And I said, I think it should be called Plantation Blues. And Plantation Blues, with the cover art that I created for him, it was so beautiful and it was so striking, and it hits you in the heart. And he can tell the stories of him growing up and what he learned, and how he has this beautiful, forgiving heart that, I mean, he's gorgeous, right? But I said, with Plantation Blues, it will hit people a certain way, and they'll understand now that it's going to be your story, your life story. Yeah. And he loved it. He cried. He was like, oh my God, that's beautiful. I said, well, it's a little bit better than My Little Green Frog.
Yeah, that's better.
You can still have your tribute to your grandma. Yeah. It's okay.
Got to keep them guessing on that. Was like, okay, interesting. What's this about?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh Lord. So right now, like what? And I know you're a very energetic person. I know you, like I said, you've had your own journey and everything. But right now, I mean, like, what what inspires you? Like what gets you up out of bed every morning and getting that third cup of coffee and
Mm.
stretching and you know seeing your partner? Like what lights you up?
I think waking people up to the fact of their own brilliance. That to me. Like I said, I love Monday mornings. I start very early. I start at 6 a.m. because I'm here in Australia. Most of my clients are in the U.S. Some are on the East Coast, so I need to start early. But showing them their own brilliance and also giving them permission to be authentic. Right now, the world is craving authenticity and truth because we see all of the we see Hollywood crumbling, we see the music industry, all that glitters is not gold, and we see it in politics. And having that real authentic relatable person communicating with you is a breath of fresh air, and people are craving it. So that's why I love what I do, and that's the importance, is letting people be their authentic selves, warts and all. You know,
Yeah.
you can be vulnerable from time to time. That's okay, because people want that and they need that. We need that as a society right now, especially. Holy moly!
Yeah, it's a lot of things. It's a very interesting times right now. Yeah, it's just
Yes.
well, yeah, one of those where like, it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's yeah, one of those. I try to tell a lot of my kids, 'cause I coach too, and I try to tell a lot of them like, hey, just sometimes the only thing you can control is like how you see things, how you see the world. Don't let the outside external things sort of dim your light. You find ways of like, being that person for yourself. Because it is very easy to like turn on the news and see like all the stuff that's going on right now. I'm like, the world's falling apart, and and at the same time too, you could easily not turn on the news and go outside and breathe and stretch and like say, you know what, life is all right now. Like the sun is still going to keep coming up. It's still gonna. It's
Yep.
so it's one of those where you keep keeping things in context, and so
And
it's
also we're also being called to step up as well.
yes, yeah,
We were very I don't want to say complacent, but we we did not, I think we did not realize that the rights that we have, and I'm here in Australia. I'm an Australian citizen now, but what I see happening in America, I don't recognize that country anymore,
yeah.
because I grew up in Los Angeles, and one of the best things about, and I worked in New York quite a bit, but one of the best things about LA and New York that I witnessed, but growing up in LA, was this beautiful melting pot, man. It was, I had all these different cultures that were impacting me and influencing me, and I had my black friends, and I had my brown friends, and I had my Jewish friends, and I had my Muslim friends, and I had all these different wonderful people. And um and it it the reason why America has been so great is because of the immigrants
Yes.
that have come, right? It is because of all of these different people, and providing their skills and their talents and their jewels that they have. And right now, what I see is just so sad. So we're also being stepped up. We're also being encouraged right now to step up and to shine that light.
Yeah.
You know, shine our lights as much as we can. I think that's really important, especially in dark times like this. We have to.
Yep. That's the truth. That's the truth. So right now, I mean, before we go into some other questions, tell me a little bit. Like, so you're five-time best-selling author. Tell me about one of your books, or maybe the newest book you've published.
Well, the last book that I did, and the title is like, okay, whatever. The Social Media and Branding Survival Guide. Okay. But it's the tagline, it's the subtitle that gives people, again, an idea of my vibe, my personality, right? The subtitle is Digital Marketing So Irresistible, Even Your Ex, and I kind of crossed out X, even your ex will want to follow you, right?
Ooh.
Okay. So, and it's a little tiny book. It's not a novel. It's such an easy read, but it's fun. It's a fun read. So it's not just about branding tips that, that are boring. They're all things that you can do. They're easy to do. So that's my latest book, but I'm working on my brand new book, which is called The Expert Authority Code. And I am in the process right now of editing that, and I'm hoping it's out shortly. It's like birthing a baby. That's my baby.
Yeah.
I don't have my own children. I have a puppy. I have a dog, but my books are my babies, and so I'm working on that right now, and so it'll be out soon. I'll let you know when it's out.
That's awesome. I was saying, hey, I'll be sure to share it out. Now, I'll
Thank
probably
you.
be looking to get one of those books too. I want to check that
Thank
out.
you, Donna. Thank you.
Get your insights, get your tips on some things. Reading that book. So right now, I mean, like, what are some creative tips right now? I mean, I know we've been talking a lot with authority, about messaging, life in general right now. But what are some creative tips that you can share with our audience?
Easy peasy things. Okay. So, first off, I highly recommend, if you have a title or a program, like a signature program, system, something like that, that can be trademarked, trademark it. That little TM. So for me, it's Christine Blosdale, the Expert Authority Coach. I have that trademarked, and that little TM tells the world that you're serious about your business or your system or your program that you have, and it raises your expert authority just a notch. It's not like having a doctor in front of your name, but it does raise it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a simple process really to do. Okay. So that's one thing. The other thing is you want to write a book. It can be a guide. It does not have to, it can be 30 page, 40 pages, 50 pages, whatever. When you write a book, that also brings up your expert authority. If you make it a bestseller, then your expert authority goes up exponentially. And I have ways that I work with my clients to get them to bestseller status. It's a system, and it's super easy to do. But, well, I won't say super easy, but it's easy to do. So that's another thing. So get that book out. And again, it does not have to be a Tom Clancy novel. It can be super short, but it's a guide on something that you know a lot about. Okay? If you know how to feed a family of 4 for $20 a day, oh, that's a bestseller right there.
Yeah.
Okay? Get that book out. Maybe even throw in a couple recipes, whatever it is that you're an expert in. So trademarking that key phrase or title that you have or system, important. Number 2, the writing that book. And if you're not a writer per se, like looking at a blank Word doc would make you want to vomit, then there's tools. I'm not a writer per se. I'm a talker, as you could tell. So I use all my workshops and webinars and podcast shows and all of that, and I take the videos and I turn them not into transcripts, but I turn the videos into chapters in books, right? And
Okay.
modules for courses. So I can use AI to take what I'm saying and make it a readable, enjoyable chapter in a book. So write those books, okay, or speak those books, okay. That's super important. And the other thing is really nail down what it is your target audience or potential clients actually want or need. For too many of us, we're pushing something that we want to sell, right? I'm holding a black stapler in my hand, and we're pushing this. I've studied staplers my whole entire life, and this is the best stapler, and you need this stapler. And as a matter of fact, it does all these great things. And in the month of February, it's 50% off. You could get it for 50% off. Okay, this is a stapler. Listen, if your potential clients and customers don't want the stapler, don't need the stapler, stop selling the stapler. They might just want a sandwich, or they might just want a pen. Find out what it is that they actually need and want. And if you can fulfill that, focus on that, not just what you have been studied or that you have in your repertoire. Okay. Focus on what they actually need and want. That's the big one. And that's the one that a lot of people miss.
That's great. That's a great tip. Actually, all of them are some really great insights. Yeah, it's wow. That definitely right.
You're speechless.
Yeah, no, writing a book, definitely trademarking. I'm really big on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
get it. trademark, writing a book, and then yeah, and then what was it? What you just said the last one?
Don't sell a stapler if they want a
Yes,
sandwich.
figure out what your audience wants. So yeah,
Yeah.
great tips. What would you know what? We'll circle back around. What would you tell your younger self right now? You know, you got the energetic Christine, and you're able to maybe find some way to hop back in time, maybe back to the 70s or 80s, which I would say 80s with rock. But what would you tell your younger self?
Number one, I was extremely shy when I was a kid. I was super shy. I felt like I landed on this planet and I was like an alien. I was like, who are these people? What is going? And oh, forget, I was born in '64, and I was like, I felt the energy of the planet. Like we had, Kennedy, the president shot, and then Martin shot, and Malcolm shot, and everybody was being assassinated, and people knew that. They were like, no, I don't think this official story is 100% correct. That that bullet went a lot of different ways. I mean, I was born into that, so of course I'm questioning authority all the time. But I was very shy, right? Because I didn't trust the world. It was a scary time. So I would tell my younger self, it's all going to be okay. And your shyness is going to go away because you're going to want to help people. And the best way that you can do that is by motivating them and inspiring them, right? To embrace their passion and what they're really great at. So don't worry about that. The other thing I would say is drink more water.
All right.
And do not, please don't go out in the sun with the baby oil and the aluminum foil. You're gonna do damage to your skin. Yes, you're gonna be tan, but gosh, stop it. That's what I would
Yeah, yeah. There's been a lot. Yeah, that might be a topic for another episode. Yeah, there's been a lot of research about yeah, suntan oil and sunblock and everything else. So it's yeah, I definitely understand that.
It was the '70s. We all did it.
Yeah, y'all were just tougher back then. Y'all were tough.
Oh, well, because we were raised by tough. I was raised by my grandmother.
Yeah.
And my grandmother, she went through World War II and Vietnam and the Depression, and it was like water off a duck's back. And she's like, okay, let's go to the next thing. We're all good. You know, it's your grandmother that when you fall and you like your eyeballs hanging out, your grandmother's the one going, little spit will fix it. There, you're okay. Go on.
Yeah. We are missing a lot of our grandmothers now. Yeah, not too many grandmothers like it used to be.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So before we sign off, what are some words of wisdom? What's some things that would resonate with people right now that may listen to this show now or in the future? What are some things that would touch some listeners' hearts?
I have a very short mantra that's on the bottom of every page on my website, and that is this. And it says this. It says, "Remember this: if you're not seen and heard, you're not hired." And that hits home for people because when they let that imposter syndrome sink in and they don't go out and they're not seen and they're not heard, they don't take those opportunities, right? They don't make those videos, they don't write those books, they don't write the blogs, they don't show up, then you're not hired because people don't know you exist and they don't know what it is that you do. So I really drive that home with not just with my clients, but with the world in general and businesses in general. You need to be seen and you need to be heard. And what I like to do is to show you the easiest, quickest, funnest way to be seen and heard.
Yeah.
So that you can get hired and you can make a decent living. That's what we want.
Yep. That is the truth. That is the truth. So how can people, it's been an awesome episode. How can people reach out to you and get connected, maybe for initial consultation, and maybe they're really serious about like trying to build their brand presence, trying to create their own authority. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yes. So first off, you have to be ready. Okay. If you're not ready, or if you're negative Nancy and you're going to throw up all, and you're going to be the glass is half full, but it's saturated, the market's already saturated, who's going to want, then don't reach out to me. Okay. If you're ready, okay, and you don't know where you're going to go, but you're ready, at least you have the passion and you're excited about it, then reach out to me. And you just go to, it's really simple, go to expertauthoritycoach.com. There's buttons all over that website. They say free consultation, free strategy session. You can book that with me. You can book it in today and see me tomorrow. And it's 30 minutes. It's recorded for you as well. And we go over, we find out where you're at, where you want to go. And then I'll give you my suggestions on how to get there. But only if you're ready. Okay? No negative Nancy's.
Yeah, we don't need any of those. Not this year. No negative Nancy's.
There's too many good things out there.
Yeah.
And it's plenty. There's this idea of scarcity. The scarcity mindset is a lie. There's so many opportunities for people. But we need to step into it and take action. That's the other thing, right?
Yep, that is the truth. Well, Christine, thank you. It has been a great episode.
I loved hanging out with you. Anytime.
This is fun. I'm gonna have to bring you back on for another one, because we gotta talk about some other stuff. We gotta chat.
Okay.
So I know you're a Reese Cups lover now, so we're gonna have to talk about some things now.
Okay.
Yeah, this was an awesome episode. Thank you for hopping on. If you get a chance, please check out all the amazing stuff she got going on. I'll be sure to put her information in the show notes too as well. If you're really serious, if you're serious about building your brand presence, your brand authority, go to her. I'm going to say it. Hey, look, people are like, hey, I want to create a new brand. We need a new logo. No, you need new messaging. You need, you need people to figure out who you actually are. This is the expert authority coach. You need to go to her first. So please, if you're really, really serious, go and check her out. So she's got some amazing content. So that's what I got. Thank you, Christine. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
I hope you have a good morning in Australia. What's the weather like right now? I know it's sort of flip-flopped. It's sort of weird.
It's the opposite. In America, it's winter, and here it's summer. Yeah. So, yeah. And I'm still not used to having Christmas being extremely hot. It's weird. And then August is freezing. So my little California mind is kind of just blown every single time. But thank you so much. I really appreciate the time, and I love I like your style. I like your energy. You on the brand, you got an A++. So keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Hey, once again, this is with me. This is Quantel. This is Christine, and this is the Creative Brew. Be creative. Stay inspired.
All I know is hard work, really nothing else. I resort to smoking weed, yo, cause nothing helps. Called the homie up, told him loot the sample up. We gotta come together now, cause I had enough. The time is now, there'll never be another one. It's a second lap.